So you guys have been growing your agency for nearly 17 years. I've only been doing my company for about 4 years, and I've got very expensive lessons where we get sold the dream and we're like, oh, yeah, this sounds great. And then
Right.
a few months in, we're not there. So what's the most expensive lesson that you've learned?
I think there's a couple, but I think the first and biggest would probably be just being the cost of keeping people on your team when maybe they're not the right fit. Waiting too long, holding on to someone who doesn't align with either our culture or our expectation. It can obviously drain our resources, impact team morale, delay progress. And it's always difficult to do that. But it's in the long run, it's important to make those tough decisions early on, rather than waiting longer, to kind of delay what might be the inevitable, right? So I would say that's the most expensive lesson that we've learned. It's always been it's still a struggle today, but it's something that we're consistently aware of, and we're always working to kind of further improve that. Um, the other expensive lesson has just been bringing on clients without clear alignment, or not setting the right expectations. Um, when that doesn't match up, it leads to churn. We end up spending too much time to try to satisfy the clients who likely won't stay with us in the long run. So those two by far are the biggest and most expensive lessons. And I'd love to say they're 100% fixed, but it's one of those things that you're always kind of working to consistently and always try to improve that. And it's what we try to preach to our sales team, to our leaders, in terms of, hey, if you're noticing that team members just aren't cutting it, obviously we want to give them the ability to kind of make adjustments, improve where we can, and have that type of dialogue. But like in the long run, just not delaying the inevitable.
Absolutely. I love that. And I've got 2 points on that. I had Chris, who owns rankings.io, on the podcast recently. And I asked him, does he take the philosophy of hire slow, fire fast when we were talking about it? And he was like, no, he was like, we fire fast, hire fast, fire fast.
Yep.
Which was quite interesting. And I love that you mentioned about kind of what clients to bring on, because something that I've realized from chatting to a lot of agency owners is that you can do everything to help your team and try and retain your team, where it's like leadership, like all the things that you kind of hear about a lot of LinkedIn. But one thing that's like really important that not a lot of people look at is the clients that you bring on. Like your team are going to be working with them directly. So the actual quality of clients that you come in, especially as a business owner, as a young business owner as me, I kind of just say at the very start of my business career, I was like, oh, money, like yeah, let's bring this in. But now it's like, well, hold on, how are they gonna work with my team, and are they aligned perfectly?
Yeah, and I think you know what, as when you're starting an agency or you're early on in that phase, you are of that mindset, right? Because uh, you want to work with anybody and everybody that you have the opportunity to work with, and so because you're trying to get money and revenue in, and so in that scenario, you are kind of taking on things that you probably maybe otherwise wouldn't, or at least that's how we did. And until we built up enough of a client base to where we could be pickier, it's just part of the growth strategy, right? Everybody's different. I mean, obviously, we don't take um, if a client were abusive or anything from that perspective. Obviously, we're not going to take that. But independent from that, aligning goals from the front end and having that type of dialogue on the front end to eliminate potential turn later on is really important. So you can be a little bit pickier as you kind of grow and have a little bit more revenue and a larger client base to kind of base that off of.
If you've gotten value from this clip and you'd like to watch another like it, click here. It's one of them. Now that I know that you stayed around until the end, you're either an agency owner or work at an agency. So with that said, if you're hiring for an SEO or a paid media role and you'd like help to recruit this talent for you, like I've done for at least probably about 100 plus companies now, with an average placement period of 25 days and a 1-year satisfaction guarantee on all placements, then there's 2 links in the description below. So if you need help with hiring, either click the link and book a strategy call with me or my team.
Thank you, and I hope you found value from this clip.